Hello Scrappy Peeps, Suzanna here today to share with you this sketch inspired layout. So that's the completed layout, and this is the sketch for February using the, I was creating with the nostalgia kit. So I have that large photo in the center of the screen there, and that is Luna, our gray tabby, and she is checking out the sun rays from a 70-degree day in early January. It was crazy. So the sketch calls for, it's a block sort of grid layout, and it calls for pattern papers up the top, and so you have more of a, I'm going to go with fat rectangle at the left hand side, and then two skinny rectangles on the right hand side, and then two squat but wide rectangles at the bottom. So it appears in the sketch like the photo is at the bottom left. However, I'm going to make that tall rectangle at the top left my photo. So I've matte the photo in orange because it just pulls a little bit more color. I'm using the color palette from that blue floral paper there. That's sort of the foundation of my color palette. And then I'm going to use a couple of the papers for the stripes. Let's just go with the skinny rectangles or the stripes, and I'm actually going to shift those down to the bottom. So I totally made this sketch my own. One of the neat things, I know some of you who follow my videos have asked about this trimmer, also my YouTube, my Instagram followers. I love that I can totally cut part way and know that I'm measuring 6 inches or 3 inches or whatever it is that I'm looking for, because there's a little arrow pointer thingy in the middle of the slide that has the cutting blade on it. And so you could see there, I did not get any extra lines. Sometimes you get just like a smidge that goes over, but I did not. See how I can totally get the exact size that I want there. So I kind of making it up and making it my own. So I shifted the tall skinny ones. You'll see from the sketch. You saw the sketch in the beginning. Shifted the tall skinny ones down, put this bottom block at the bottom here, and then moved that other wide skinny block, squat block, up to the top there. And that is the foundation of the layout. Then I'm going to embellish it. So I'm going to create a sequence shaker. Every month there is a fun sequence mix that comes with the kit. And so you have green, blue, and gold stars this month, and I just thought it would be fun to make a little shaker out of that and use the shaker to break up the grid there. I have embellishments here from the kit as well as from the embellishment add-on, and then I am going to just sort of layer them up. In the sketch, there's only 2 clusters of embellishments, but I have more than that. And then I know for a fact Christine used the stars and the circles and the arrows as placeholders for things, and that just showed you a variety of things. And so I certainly have a variety of things. I wanted to use what was already pre-cut from this piece of pattern paper, but you can see it's slightly shorter than this squat block that I needed. So I'm going to use that selvage or strip there to just complete that, to make it a symmetrically sized grid, which is fine because I like the way that it also gives that mix of color to the top of the layout there. So I'm going to use Polaroid frames there from the bits and pieces from Simple Stories to layer those up. Again, it breaks up the grid a little bit, and there are some really cool, you can see those clips, paper clips, acrylic clips from Vicky Bouton. I'm going to put a few of those in. So you've got the butterfly there, just a couple, not a few, and then the heart. That yellow label, by the way, is not from the kit. It is an Ellie Studio add-on that I am using because I needed, I wanted the true yellow, not the mustardy yellow that is in the Remember journaling bits there. So to make the shaker frame, I have a piece of acrylic, and I'm going to it's easy. You probably know how to make a frame. So I've set that aside while I finish adhering all of these things down, because you have to test a shaker. And so if I were to pick all of this up and all these things weren't adhered, I'd get in trouble, right? And all those things that I carefully placed and labored over would fall off. So smart move, adhere them down, and then build your shaker so you can test your shaker. So I had thought about backing the label, but and then I thought, well, maybe I'll cut one of the orange flowers, but it really doesn't need a whole lot more. So I'm just going to go with it and stick that down. I don't have a title. I haven't really left myself room on the page itself for a title, because my plan all along was to use that Absorbs rub-on and put that at the bottom of the photo there. Either that, or I could put it up the top, but the thing with putting it up the top is then I block the light that the cat is looking in as it comes in through the door. So I'm ready to build my shaker. So I'm creating a background piece that the sequence will slide against. But first I want to make the window. So I'm using some double-sided adhesive, and that is going to be how I adhere. So I'm going to put it around all four edges, and that is where the acetate is going to go. So it's going to go frame, double-sided adhesive, acetate, double-sided foam, and then a backer. Oh, and I should say adhesive, double-sided foam, then sequence, then the backer. So just cutting out the square for the opening, being very non-scientific about that. Again, cutting the backing, and once again, being very non-scientific about that. That was an anti-static pouch that I have. I have the worst time with sequence and static. Either I don't put enough backing foam so everything gets smushed, or everything just stays as a clump because I didn't use anti-static, but I've now learned to use that. So peeling off the foam so that as soon as the sequence is in there, I can put the backing on, and then making sure that the backing is an adequate size there. So wiping the backing with the anti-static as well, just to double ensure, pouring some sequence in there. And what I should have done was just poured it out literally, because the pushing of my finger created some static amongst the sequence itself. But you know, you learn these things as you go. You think I would know, having worked with sequins as long as I have, but you know. So pulling off the sequences that got stuck to the foam, and then sticking the backing on, and yay, see, shaker. Isn't that fun? And I just thought there's so much light and play of movement because of the light in the photo, that I thought this was a fun way of mimicking that. So adhering that down to the page, and then finishing off with the other elements that I don't have. Now this other frame I am also backing with white. I felt like it needed a little bit of white again to help break up the grid, and then also as a place for journaling, because while I've got that label on the left hand side, I just didn't feel that it was enough for the journaling that I wanted to tell. So finishing layering up this cluster that the sequence shaker is the highlight of, and that is pretty much the layout there. I just have to finish the title, and then I am going to, so I will do that rub-on while I'm on camera. And these rub-ons are awesome. They're kind of like, they're like butter. They're awesome. Remember the really old Studio Calico ones that just went on so smoothly? These are just like that. They're awesome. So I'm going to use that Absorbs, and that is going to be my title, but my subtitle is going to be Light Chaser. I don't have the layout in front of me, but I believe it's called Light Chaser or something like that. And that subtitle is going to go into the pink label. Then in the yellow label that does not come with the kit, that is my addition. That is just going to say Luna, the name of the cat, and the date. And then my journaling is going to be in that little frame beside the shaker there. I will also add a few additional sequences above Adorbs just to kind of pull it together there. You can see them. So enjoy the close-ups. I will leave you subscription information to Mercy Tiara kits in the description box down below. If you have any questions, especially about that sequin shaker, please don't hesitate to ask that in the box down below. Thanks for stopping in today. I hope you're doing well. Come back again soon. Take care.